All right, boys and girls, we are back. And the big news of the day is that Sony has officially shut down Firewalk Studios. This comes after the disastrous launch of Concord, probably the biggest video game fail of all time. Like, this is terrible how bad Concord did. And of course, when you cater to a modern audience, it's expected at this point. People aren't having it. It's not because, it was just a bad game. No, it's because people are not having Firewalk Studios, a company that's infected with DEI, come out here and ruin the gaming industry. That's the facts. Whether you want to ignore it or not, that's the facts. So here's their statement. They also sent like an email and things like that that are pushed out, which we'll probably look at this, but it's trending right now on Twitter. And I wanted to talk about it. So you can see it says Firewalk is signing off one last time. Firewalk began with the idea of bringing the joy of multiplayer to a larger audience. Along the way, we assembled an incredible team who were able to navigate growing a new startup into a team during a global pandemic. Firewalk was founded in 2018 and was a very small for its first couple years, only entering full production in 2022. Well, real quick, you guys were not trying to bring joy to a larger audience. You were trying to bring joy to a modern audience, which is why it fucking flopped 2 weeks into launch and you had to sign off. Pathetic. Horrible. When are you going to stop catering to a small minority game development studios, or Hollywood for that matter? Nobody cares about DEI. That's why nobody goes and buys or watches all this nonsense. There's not a larger audience that wants crap like this. And that is facts. Continuing on, it says they build a new customized next-gen FPS engine in Unreal, delivering top-tier gameplay feel, beautiful worlds, and a performant 60 FPS technical experience on a stable and scalable backend of PS5 and PC to hundreds of thousands of players in our beta. So good. That's good, but what did you proceed to do with that in 8 years of development? You ran it into the ground because you were more worried about having an individual called the professor at your building and at your studio and promoting a toxic, inclusive, positive workplace environment instead of actually making a game that people would give a fuck about. Your character designs were atrocious. It was terrible, and now I'm relishing in it. I am relishing in it. So they go on to hype themselves up, saying, manage an acquisition integration while ready in technical and preliminary test, ultimately ship and deliver a great FPS experience to players, even if it landed much more narrowly than hoped against a heavily consolidated market. We took some risk along the way, marrying aspects of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shooters, and although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward, which is all right. I'll give them that. The idea of pushing something new out there, something that's an innovative type of gameplay aspect or mechanic, great, all day. But your game had no value at all. And I'm sorry if that comes across as harsh. Your game had no value to gamers. In fact, it didn't even care about gamers because it wasn't even catered towards your consumers. It wasn't made for gamers. It was made for people that work at Firewalk Studios, pretty much, because that's probably about the gist of who played it, to be completely honest. Your beta turned people away. They played this beta and then they didn't come back to support the actual finished project for whatever reason, whether it was DI or the game sucked. You didn't have something that captivated people. And that's tough. It is tough in the market today. But y'all's reputation took a huge hit when stuff was exposed about your Firewalk Studios. Continuing on, they said the talent at Firewalk and the level of individual craft is truly world-class, and teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. Please reach out to recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries, and thank you to all the many teams, partners, and fans who support us along the way. See you in the Tempest. Now, you can see they're getting flamed. I smell bullshit says your pronouns are, was, were. Jesus Christ. God. Right off the fucking bat, they are getting fucking torn up from the floor up. You can see Lightning says it was deserved. Sorry, not sorry. Firewalk Studios was/were. I hope something was learned from this. This is your legacy. I mean, look at these characters they had. Look at the characters they had. I'm going to like that one. And they're just getting fucking torn up. Pirate Nation says, keep voting with your wallets. R.I.P. Bozo. Mr. Smiles and Hug says, good riddance. Thank God you're purged from the industry. You essentially stole money from your publishers due to how lame of a game it was. And I agree. Essentially, they took all that years of development, all that money, millions of dollars. Sony lost millions of dollars because these guys were incompetent. They didn't care about making a game. That's what people need to realize. They didn't care about making a game. Now, continuing on, I mean, just look at the trending tab, the tab about it, where it's talking about everything going on. Everybody's talking about it. Here's a full internal email that was apparently sent out announcing it to, I guess, the dev team that they were no longer going to be having their jobs, that they were shutting down. And basically, these were updates from Sony Interactive Entertainment Studio Business Group saying we consistently evaluate our games portfolio and status of our projects to ensure we're meeting near and long-term business priorities. As part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen SIE studio business, we have had to make a difficult decision relating to two of our studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios. So Neon Koi also got shut down, right? So basically, it's announced that Neon Koi's mobile action game will not be moving forward for whatever reason, and Firewalk is also not moving forward. They're permanently sunsetting the game, and they're closing the studio. So they were thinking about, see right here, we have spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. So I guess they were going to try to go a physical or, a free-to-play, not physical, a free-to-play route, but it looks like they didn't. They considered it. I think there's a slice of humble pie for them right here, especially when you see all the nonsense that the studio went through, and that I keep going back to the professor. You know, RGT85 with a banger tweet right here. Hermen Hulst really gassed these dudes up, made Sony buy the studio just for him to close them down. Wowzers. Atreus went off. Go off, King. Shout outs to Atreus. Subscribe to him if you can. If I had a soundboard, I would hit the Don DeMarco. Says it's official. Sony has shut down Firewalk Studios. How many studios have to be destroyed? How many jobs have to be lost for AAA studios to get the message? Going to war with your customer base is not a sustainable way of doing business. Making multi-million-dollar video games to own the chuds will never work. Let this be a lesson learned. What studio have you ever heard of releasing a game and not even 2 months later getting shut down? I have no sympathy or empathy for those affected by these results. I wish you well. Just in another industry, because it's very clear to me that everyone responsible for this game does not belong. You're clearly disconnected from your audience, and your frivolous display of discontent for your customer base showed through your arrogance. Goodbye and good riddance. That's like the banger tweet right there. Sums it the fuck up, honestly. Like, absolute fucking banger. These people did not care about the consumers. They were more about owning chuds. And that's right on the fucking mark. And I know that sounds like a hateful thing to say, but it's not. It's just facts. It's just opinion. And these people can't handle that. And anybody that suddenly comes out and is acting like they were in full support of this, no, you weren't. Because barely anybody played this fucking game. Barely anybody played this game. Stuttering Craig, you know, he does the daily update to the modern audience, zero in game. 66.65% favorable. Firewalk Studios shut down by Sony. Concord's officially no more. I mean, banger fucking tweet. I mean, what were they expecting? What were they thinking, as AVGN would say? And, of course, Insider Gaming announced it. Wrote a whole article about it. So, Firewalk Studios, no more. And they're getting torn up. And, again, let this be a lesson. Let this be a fucking lesson. Oh, my God. Farah says, you could have DM'd the few people that played, bro. God damn. I love the gaming community, guys. I fucking love them, especially when they're telling it like it is to all these weird activists that are development studios that don't know shit about video games. They would rather just cater to woke ideologies, woke narratives, and they could give a fuck all about any of their consumers because we're a whole bunch of men That's basically what it comes down to. So Firewalk Studios is absolutely no more, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 94,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching.